up, Woodward? We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid hot.
Fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm. Because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What up, though, people? Welcome to Waking Up on Fumes. It's the Woo Crew and Chat family. We need you guys today. Go ahead and smash that like button, man. It's Wake Up Woodward. It's your boy Brandon Dan, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network, Flannel Sam, Red Wings correspondent, all sports knower, vet of the squad, vet of the network, and he was downtown as well at the draft watch party and the playoff watch party.
Yeah, fortunately, I got to be honest, I was a lot more invested in the Pistons game, of course, because as we all know, the Lions didn't pick until 28. They didn't trade up, so the Pistons game was long gone and done by the time the Lions were able to draft. So shout out to Stick. I was originally supposed to be on some draft coverage, but Neil and Sean pretty much took it home. So those guys were. It was great because afterwards they were sweating bullets and whatnot, but they did their thing, and I got to pay more attention to the Pistons.
Hey,
didn't have to miss a single dribble.
Couple pros, man. And shout out to everybody because Detroit was electric. It was on fire. I know we're going to talk about it here and around the city and Chat family. Whatever you did yesterday to celebrate just how big a day it was for Detroit sports, put that in the chat as well. I know we're going to talk about our experiences, but you want to tell the people what else is on the menu today?
Well,
it's pretty easy.
We don't have a lot to talk about today, right? Yeah, no, just
nothing happened.
Yeah, what happened last night? But yep, Lions.
Depending on who you ask, you will get very different answers.
And that's why today's show is going to be so great. Yep, the Lions, they make a pick that little surprising. Tyleik Williams, we'll talk about that. And, of course, in the second hour, we're going to break down what happened in the Pistons-Knicks game. This is probably the most jam-packed show we've ever done.
We're going to have to get on our Stanley Johnson here with Brad Holmes. we're going to have to find a way to get in his head, get in his mind, and figure out the mind of it all. I can't wait to get to breaking down that draft pick.
Actually, we might even do a little bit of Tigers. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Break down Tigers-Orioles. Who you got? No, I'm kidding.
Look, bro, Jared Goff, Jaden Ivey, Tigers and Michigan baseball, those things will make Stick appear, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out Stick. And shout out to everybody who made yesterday possible for Woodward Sports. Not just, what we did to get the broadcast going, but shout out to those guys, sales team, Stick, everybody, the setup crew, the broadcast crews, but everybody who supported. There was a lot of views. There were a lot of likes. And there were a lot of people that we met, in the flesh, man. That was the coolest thing. We got content with so many people. The Heavies did. Platty and myself did over at LCA Inside. And everybody we got content with, at least from our perspective, from where we were, everybody we got content with, we didn't have to look for it. They came up to us, and they gave us a lot of encouragement. They're talking about Go Detroit Pistons. They're talking about Woodward Pistons, Woodward Sports, shouting out the rest of the cast and the crew. I'm telling you, that to me was one of the highlights of the day, if not for this being one of the most important playoff basketball games in the last 17 years for the Pistons. That was a pretty high moment, being able to be with the Chat family and highlighting them.
Yep, ran into some people downtown that are our listeners, and most people were great. I'll say that. Most, not all. But I want to read a couple of super chats. Ed O'Neill, update, the Lions just gave up another third and long. I feel like I know where you stand on the pick, and that's okay, by the way. We'll discuss it. And Burn, Tyleik is a freak of nature. I guess Jack Sawyer said that. Nice praise from his teammate. Also, all the other contenders around us solidified their O-line. The NFC goes through the middle, and that is a good point. That's, I mean, you see what the Bears did. You can, for example, you can like their philosophy. You can say that they're a little too free agent heavy, but teams are trying to win in the trenches, and we obviously saw what the Vikings did last night in the draft as well. So Donovan Jackson, I believe, is who they picked. So, push, as Neil Rule says, push people this way and push people that way.
Yeah, and when I did that mock draft, shout out to Matt Broder, our brother, and I did that mock draft on the Fox Sports station. I know he did it prior as the beat reporter here, and he was out of town for this one. Honestly, what inspired my pick, even though Squirt was on the board at edge, was this fact that I started to, and I shouted you out in this thing. I shouted you out, Kavasi, because when you started talking about what the Sue and the Fairley combination, and really talk about, let's beef up that meat in the middle. That's what really influenced it a lot for me. I wanted to go edge. This is where I was, every one of these shows we've done. But for some reason, after that, I really started thinking about what this could do if you really get the right type of player in the middle of that line to spring on the outsides, especially with KG, with Kelvin Shepard as a defensive coordinator, and some of the creativeness we saw them do last year, utilizing linebackers getting home as well. I like the things Brad Holmes had to say about it, and I know we're going to talk a lot more about that pick in the next segment, but downtown yesterday was epic. It was just epic overall. LCA on the inside, man. I've never heard LCA that loud in my life, ever. I've covered a lot of games there now, and I've gone to games there before. We went to the playoff game with Blake. I've never heard it like I heard it last night. Those fans were absolutely on one, and they did their job last night.
It definitely came through the screen. But, Chase, I wanted to give you a chance to respond to what Kool-Aid said just a second ago.
Yeah, I was definitely, happy with the pick. When you have such a presence and pressure up the middle, you're forced to go to the edge. And look how good Aiden Hutchinson was, at the beginning of last year before he got injured. Just making it tougher for teams to attack the middle and forcing them to go to the outside. You're either going to have to choose, am I going to go to Aiden Hutchinson, or am I going to go to Marcus Davenport, or whoever else Brad decides to add to this, Zadarius Smith, to, maybe Jared Ivey if he drafts him, maybe Josiah Stewart. So, when you have, such a brick wall in the middle of not just, Tyleik, but also DJ Reader and also a healthy Lee McNeil, then, it's I like building inside out with the defensive line. The Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh combo was the best defense this Lions team has ever seen as far as defensive statistics and stopping the run. We're seeing the NFL getting back to a very heavy ground and pound game. So I like having some big beefy bodies in the middle. Like Terry Foster said, he likes guys with big butts.
With big butts.
That's what she like.
Hey, you know what?
I'm wearing my CMU
I like
hat
this
today
pick
too.
already. I know we're going to get into that more, but whatever he does from here will definitely make me like this a lot more. All this can do is go up from here. That's the good thing about what Brad Holmes is doing, is that he's clear on the vision that he has set. He knows what he's trying to do. He knows the puzzle he's putting together. We all have our vision of a puzzle, and we don't fault anybody for that. That's what we do. That is a tale as old as time. But what we know about Brad Holmes is when he starts to get going, he's a guy that puts it together the right way. And no matter, even if it's against what we think, I keep going back to that trade deadline, that pivotal trade deadline. The first year they won that NFC North division title, and we all continued to state what they needed in order for them to win a game or two and have a chance to get to the Super Bowl. But clearly, Brad Holmes stepped to the table, kind of smug, and was like, hey, listen, we have enough, guys. We have enough. And they did. And so now when I'm looking at what he's doing right now, and you go out there and you beef up that interior, I like it. I like it. It makes me very, very curious for what's to come ahead, because if you do anything else in that defensive line, somebody else falls, or you get a nice rotational piece at edge, then yeah, and I get it. There's a lot of people who are upset about who the Lions passed on, because some people are saying that the rich get richer when you look at what Philly walked away with. But that doesn't – I hear you over there, Jerry. That doesn't stop, in my opinion, Brad Holmes from going – and, the rest of the draft, going and loading up on some more defensive line or in the trenches help.
You know what? I think we're about ready to get right into it. So let's take the first break nice and early and just dissect that pick, because that's pretty much what everybody is here for, at least that and the Pistons. But certainly the draft, because I think everybody's got an opinion, and I want to hear everybody's in the chat. But Chase, tell us about Mad Bags.
Yeah, Mad Packs. It's KG here to talk to you about Mad Packs. Mad Packs is the hottest new cannabis brand, and they're partnering with Woodward Sports. So you know what that means. I'm going to be feeling good for opening day. Mad Packs is going to be taking your game to the next level. High-low, getting you high for the low, delivering you that top-tier quality at unbeatable prices. Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka. It's a new live resin infused tarantula, and this one's the bomb. Blizzard Packs, THCA Moon Rocks, that hit like a blizzard, coming to select retailers in May of 2025. Stay tuned for Woodward Sports with all the latest updates.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got Tully, everybody. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's Planet Fitness. Fitness that fits your budget. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Do you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward, and you know what? I think a lot of stuff went down impactful to the state of Detroit sports last night. The Detroit Pistons had a playoff game, one of the most important ones in over 17 years, and everybody showed up for it, including those Tigers, including some Lions players. And talking about those Lions, they were involved in the NFL draft, first round, pick 28. And you know what? This has had a lot of people pretty much split. I've seen a lot of people who are like, yo, it was right there for you on a platter. You had your edge rusher, and then you let Philly, who already has nastiness in the trenches, get a little bit nastier. But I do believe this, that when you talk about getting tougher on your defensive line and getting somebody who can be that you believe that might not be as impactful as Aleem McNeil, but can be in a similar mold, I do believe that Brad Holmes cooked up.
Well, and this is from Dante151, kind of
yeah.
echoing your sentiments. Thank you. You are the
Definitely.
absolute man. If you were here right now, I'd kiss you.
Let me pull up
Obviously, that's just a figure of speech. But the point is,
Shout
thank
out
you so much.
Dante151.
I'm so sick and tired of people crashing out on this Brad Holmes pick. People wanted Mike Green at pick 28, and look what happened. No one else selected Green. So what in the actual F do you people know? And I'm pulling a Flannel Sam with saying you people. Hey, thank you for the donation. And yeah, I definitely understand that sentiment because the whole first round passed on Mike Green, even though I like him a lot as well.
Hey, Dante151, go on ahead and email me, Kool-Aid@woodwardsports.com. We definitely going to go ahead and give you some merch. Email me, my guy. I feel like we do this a lot. But email me. And I know we actually reached the merch giveaway yesterday, so if we reach another one today, we'll have another two, but we will give away some more merch by the end of the show. So, JB, as the super chats come in, just be looking, and we'll make sure that somebody goes home with some more merch.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, I'm interested in this Flannel Sam because there's a lot of people who are wondering exactly how Tyleik Williams is going to help the Detroit Lions as it relates to pass rush. Obviously, he's a good run stopper, but I want to hear a little bit more about him from you.
I mean, pass rush is really the question, and I actually have one of the famous, well, not really famous, but I found a nice highlight clip on the Exosphere, courtesy of Mr. Kyle Posey, and if JB, you want to go ahead and throw that up.
Yep.
It shows basically that Tyleik Williams, you see him in a lot of different situations where he's stopping the run. You don't see a lot of pass rushing highlights, although there's the one right there in which he forces the pressure on Drew Aller. But that really was his strength in college, an elite run stopper. Really, when you talk about the defensive tackles coming out of the draft, I don't know if he's as good as anybody at stopping the run, but certainly a first-round level run stopper without a shadow of a doubt. He's definitely a space eater. He's about 6'3", 335. On paper, he's listed as the same size as a DJ Reader. That is definitely some beef in the trenches. But you also see when you watch this that, yeah, he can take up space. Yeah, he fills gaps. But he also sheds blocks and has more moves, and he definitely knows how to diagnose these plays and actually not just create it for others, but make the play himself. You saw him in multiple college football playoff games last year in which Ohio State did unfortunately go on to win the national championship, where he had big TFLs at big moments, and he played big time against some of the best opponents. So, yeah, it's just a lot of him being very stout against the run, and as you see as well, a lot of really good teams, a lot of college football playoff highlights. You got some Oregon, you got some Penn State mixed in as well. So it's very, very interesting. And what I decided to do, because I think a lot of people do this when they're trying to decide on things, is that I made the Flannel Sam pros and cons list. And JB, if you want to go ahead and throw up the pros really quick.
Yep.
Because there are certainly a couple. I already mentioned it. Pros. He is an excellent run defender. Not as good as any. I think Mason Graham has him beat in terms of run defense, but he's obviously the number one defensive tackle in the draft. But as you can see, Tyleik Williams is really good against the run. And the Detroit Lions, if they want to go ahead and keep like stacking players so that they're the best run defense in the NFL, who am I to say no? Because that is absolutely huge. And also, interior defensive line might be a bigger need than we even realize. And not even just for 2 years from now, but next year. Ali McNeil, how many games do you think he's going to miss at the beginning of the year? Probably 5 or 6 minimum.
6 weeks,
Yeah.
You need somebody who's going to be in there that could potentially start and contribute on day one.
And when he gets back, even if it is
Yeah.
the 5 or 6 minimum, is he going to be the Aleem that we know of right out the gate?
Now,
Maybe not.
it's hard to say. It's a very, very big man with an ACL, and that's always something that you have to be mindful of. But also, and this is something, nobody was happier about the pick last night than Mr. Spencer Raxter, and you'll be hearing him going off today. But one thing he mentioned, and he's right about one thing, DJ Reader's here for one more year. I don't think the Lions are going to re-sign him. Levi Onwuzurike and Roy Lopez just signed 1-year deals. So if you're looking towards the future, you definitely need some help in the trenches. I think Brad Holmes is envisioning Aleem McNeil and Tyleik Williams playing side by side for the next couple of years, because as we know, Aleem McNeil did re-sign, and Tyleik Williams has 4 years of a rookie contract and a potential 5th-year option. So those are the most, I would say, glaring pros for me. And if you want another one, just before I pass it over to my guys, he's pretty versatile. He lines up everywhere on the defensive line, besides for edge rush. So if you want to line him up at nose guard, he can do it. If you want to line him up at the 3 technique, if you want to line him up over the tackle, he did all of that in college. So the versatility, at least in the interior of the defensive line, I think it's something that Brad Holmes values, and it's something that Tyleik Williams showed to be able to do at a pretty high level in college.
Yeah, I see Griville USA saying DJ Reader ain't no spring chicken.
Absolutely
He's not. And you're right. Brad Holmes does value it, and he talked about that he is a 3-down lineman, and he is a, when you look at exactly how he succeeds, it's the agility, it's the speed, and it's his quick instinct, his quick reaction, especially when diagnosing the run plays. His ability to go from being engaged with pretty good offensive linemen to being able to still make the tackle. His ability to, this is one of the things too. When you talk about containing a run, what I liked about some of the sacks that he got, it wasn't many, but it was at least when the containment broke down, he was able to diagnose and get after the quarterback. And that, to me, is something that I do like. If you're going to be in that interior, to be able to have a little bit of everything. And I do wonder if the responsibility at Ohio State, if coming here and now playing against some dogs, and, who knows how they're going to shade coverages towards Aiden Hutchinson, you have an opportunity to blow up the interior of an offensive line, especially if you have, like Kavasi Chase is saying, you're packing it up with all of the meat in the world. Yeah. That's what Brad Holmes is doing right now. I'm not pausing that at all, because I'm getting more and more excited about it. I'm serious, bro. Since you said that, I was just like, you know what? Especially with how we saw them manufacture some pressure off the edges in the playoffs, I was like, you know what? If they can go and beef up this middle, for everything we talked about on the offensive line in terms of players getting long in the tooth, contract situations, and long-term success, well, the interior of the defensive line, they have those same questions as well. And so now you talk about going and getting somebody who you believe can be an impactful player, a starter from day one, and be a starter, like you said, Flannel Sam, for some years to come.
He might have to be a starter on day one, considering Aleem McNeil is out. But maybe not. We'll see. But, JB, I also, when it comes to his run defense, we obviously saw the highlights and everything, and you saw his skills and what he's able to do. I also have some numbers to really hit home that Tyleik Williams was damn near as good as anybody coming into the draft in terms of stopping the run. You got that one, good sir?
Yep, and run defense grades.
Absolutely. All right, so these numbers are according to PFF. Run defense grades in 2024. Mason Graham, obviously the best. He's a unicorn. I think he's going to be multiple-time All-Pro, a diet Aaron Donald. I really do. 92.6.
He must have went to a good school.
Yes, absolutely. Walter Nolan, 91.6. Tyleik Williams, 88.6. These are run defense grades according to PFF. Kenneth Grant, 87.5. And Derek Harmon, 80.5. This highlights that Tyleik Williams, and these are all of the defensive tackles that were taken in the first round, for those of you who either don't know or forgot. I needed a refresher myself this morning. So what I'm trying to highlight with this and with his highlight tape is that he's going to come in and I think at the absolute minimum be an effective run defender. And why not, if you're the Detroit Lions, just continue to be one of the stoutest defenses against the run? Because honestly, even though sometimes I think it gets undervalued, making sure that teams and good running backs like potentially Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, for example, that they don't go off, that's huge. That makes it so that teams are in like 3rd and long, and then that's where guys like Aiden Hutchinson can hopefully tee off. And then maybe Tyleik Williams helping him out too.
And we've also seen this defensive line, for as much as we talk about what Kirby Joseph has done to take away touchdowns, interception-wise and end zone, we've also seen this defensive line over the last 2 years with Dan Campbell and co. stop teams in the red zone, not being having to go 1, 2, and 3 attempts at trying to get a rush in, and it's been difficult for them. Think about this team on 4th and shorts. We've been able to, over the years, stop teams in those instances. And now you're talking about putting more there, and not just more there, because we talked about the concept of if you are picking 28 and you don't trade up or trade down, you need this person to be a day one starter. Or at least not a day one starter, but to have the ability potentially to day one start. And I do believe with this pick, you get that. Because I remember that was something that KG was talking about. If we go offensive line, if we go defensive line, not on the edge, then at least he's hoping that this person is bringing starter-type talent. And I do believe you're getting that with this. And to me, it's about the size, the combination of size, power, and his quickness, man. His ability to kind of diagnose quickly and make the play in stop and run, which makes him so elite in that. And my thing is this. I often wonder if you're a defensive coordinator and your job is to develop and innovate with that player, take this player to new heights. Is there something that they see with all of this quickness and agility and pairing him with the defensive line where they do believe they can get even more out of him with putting pressure in passing situations?
Well, that's what they hope for if you're drafting him in the first round. And I think Marked Royal has a decent segue to where we can take a break and maybe go to the other side of the coin. Lions don't need run defenders. They have that. Lions need a pass rush. How many years do we need to do the same-ish? Get to the playoffs and can't rush the passer. And I'll tell you what, Mark Royal, we'll come back from a break and I'll actually give you what I perceive to be the cons, because I'm definitely opening up the glaze shop when it comes to Tyleik Williams' ability against the run and showing you what he can do. But do I think this was a perfect pick? Do I have zero questions? Not necessarily, and find out what those are when we come back. But first, I'll tell you about Feldman, where I, Flannel Sam, got my car, where Neil Rule got his car, where Matt Broder, shout out Broder in the chat, got his car as well. And they've got all kinds of great deals, especially if you don't drive a lot of miles. Look at these lease prices. 2025 Silverado 1500 Crew for only $199 a month, or the 2025 Equinox LT FWD for only $249 a month. And you know what else? Feldman Chevrolet is the Chevrolet dealer of the year for what, 6 years running now? That's a 6-peat. That's not even what Jordan and the Bulls did with like 3, a little semi-retirement and then 3. That is a full-on 6-peat, and maybe they'll even get that 8-peat as well. Shout out Feldman Chevrolet of Novi.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
For sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
I threw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo. You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
Let's give it up for David Tully, everybody. David Tully. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Somebody say merge. Do yourself a favor, head over to woodwardsports.com. Click on that shop tab. We got new designs for you every single week. We might be adding some Tyleik Williams, new t-shirt designs as well too. Just saying, he is a Lion, everybody. But go and grab some of the Woodward Tigers gear that we got going on right now as well too. T-shirts, hoodies, everything that you need. Also the LFG Red Wings t-shirts and hoodies as well too. They're still available for you. They might not have got it done this season, but they are still our team. You got to represent them. So head over to woodwardsports.com. All you got to do is click on that shop tab.
Yeah, Scott, break it down, man. So, really big dude, super powerful guy, 330-plus pounds, defensive
DJ Reader
tackle.
part, you?
Yes, but also he does have the ability to play as a 3-tech, where Aleem McNeil is missing the first part of the season. He's just huge. But you can see he's playing in a 3-tech right there. You can see his lateral agility for being a really big guy and the effort he plays with. Perfect fit.
See,
really
and now
fit.
this has been the theme for tonight. I don't give a shit if he's a Buckeye. Come on in, help us out.
He's a Lion now.
I don't give a shit. Come on, help us out.
But he helps in a variety of ways. He's a really good run defender, a really good run defender.
Scott, they
Versatile.
like versatility.
Versatile. He can play as a 1 or a 3.
guy.
DJ Reader's not going to be here forever. There's your replacement for Reader when Reader's done.
The
bottom line. It makes sense.
The bottom line in this game, you push people this way and you push people that way.
Yep.
Yeah, that way.
Trenches.
That's
trenches,
it.
Trenches. Darren McCarty likes it.
There it is.
That's good with me.
It's all
That's
good.
good with me.
It's good.
Trenches. That's the National Football League today, man.
Take a break, JB.
That kid is Wake Up Woodward, and you know what? I don't think you can say any better than that. Trenches. This is the NFC North, and this is how we win. Dan Campbell, if you bite kneecaps, we already know where it starts. But that was from our broadcast last night, our first ever dual stream, man. We're stepping into the new age. We had the draft party, watch party going on. We had pregame. Watch party and post-game show for the Pistons playoffs. Shout out to Scott Bischoff, Sean Belegian, Neil Rule, and everybody else. I know I saw Flannel there as well. I saw KG, Spinny. Shout out to everybody who made that possible, and to Buddy's Pizza downtown, one of our sponsors here. It was a good night overall, but I got to ask you something here, because there's not a lot of people who are questioning the impact that he can have on this squad. Obviously, there's some who wish we went for another position, but they do believe that, but if we were going to get him, we probably could have got him at second or third. What do you believe about the value? And obviously, from this point forward, what do you do from here?
So I think that Tyleik Williams, if you're talking about a perfect place where he could have been drafted, and there are no perfect scenarios, by the way, I think he was a mid-second round kind of talent, which would have meant that the Lions would have had to trade back. I don't think he would have lasted till 60. And I know that there was some talk during the room. It's like, oh my goodness, is Brad Holmes trading back? But he didn't. He selected his guy at 28. But what 28 gives you, it gives you the opportunity for a fifth-year option, of course, and also, if Brad Holmes really believes in Tyleik Williams, if he believes that Tyleik Williams is the type of piece that can get the Lions over the top and win a Super Bowl, and he can be a valuable contributor, then it really doesn't matter where he was picked. So for me, on the Flannel Sam scale, do I say it's maybe a little bit of a reach? Sure, but I'm not mad at it. But as I said before, it's not, to me, a perfect pick. It's one in which I think it requires some nuance to really appreciate, but also I think that there are some legitimate potential concerns, although they aren't necessarily like bust alert or anything like that. So JB Smoove, do you want to put up the cons list for me, good sir?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So these are my cons, mine, Flannel Sam's. You might disagree with both of them. to me, he objectively did not have a lot of pass rush production at Ohio State, and I don't think that he really has that kind of pass rushing upside. I see somebody who is more DJ Reader than anything. He certainly has the size. He certainly has an ability as a space eater and a run defender. Maybe a little bit more athletic, maybe a little bit more pass rushing impact. I think that he is going to be at his best, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, maybe 85% of what Aleem McNeil is. That, to me, is the ceiling for Tyleik Williams. And again, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I hope I'm wrong on this. But even if he's 85% of Aleem McNeil, he could absolutely contribute to a team winning a Super Bowl. And also, and I know a lot of people want to talk about it, who the Lions passed on. And this is where some people in the chat might end up turning on me for this one. It's not the end of the world, but when I saw at 28, and again, this is Flannel Sam's opinion, not what I think Brad Holmes necessarily would do. When I saw that Donovan Ezeraku was available, when I saw that Mike Green was available, when I saw that my prophecy of Will Johnson to the Lions almost came to fruition, and also Jihad Campbell was available, I'm like, all right, any one of those four, and I'm ecstatic. And then Tyleik Williams was the pick, and I was like, okay, fine. But to me, the difference in those guys versus Tyleik Williams is I think all four that I mentioned have a chance to be special. I think Donovan Ezeraku can be a double-digit sack guy. I absolutely feel the same way about Mike Green. I thought he had some of the most impressive film, I think the most impressive film besides Abdul Carter of anyone in the draft, although some people would say, he played at Marshall. Still, Mike Green was a menace out there. Jihad Campbell, if he has that pass rushing upside, if he's as versatile of a linebacker as people think, and as I believe he can possibly be, I think he can be special too. And Howie Roseman certainly thinks so because he traded up a pick to get him. And when the Eagles do something like that, usually Howie Roseman gets it right. And when it comes to Will Johnson, I understand that he fell out of the first round completely, but I still think I'll stand by the fact that it's multiple all-pros loading. So I'm not saying Tyleik Williams was a bad pick. I don't see multiple Pro Bowls or all-pros. I see 85% of a Lee McNeil or more of a DJ Reader archetype, which isn't bad. Very, very good. I thought the Lions had an opportunity for special, but before I pass it over, the one thing that a lot of you can say to me in the chat and are legitimate on is that the whole first round passed on Mike Green, the whole first round passed on Donovan Ezeraku, and the whole first round passed on Will Johnson. The real test is if Jihad Campbell helps the Eagles repeat and Tyleik Williams has some struggles. That's where we might have a little bit of buyer's remorse, at least at first. But this isn't a bad pick. I just don't see special in Tyleik Williams. But the Lions might not necessarily need special. And you don't always get special at 28.
Yeah, and for me, this is where I can't wait, as all of you out there to see exactly what Brad Holmes does from here, because he did tease that they're not done. Clearly, it's not just about the draft, but we do know that they've also kept in touch with Big Z. And if this is a situation where, we get closer and closer to the season, and Zadarius Smith is a guy they bring back, then I'm very, very ecstatic right now. But just even going forward in this draft and looking at, some of the cons, it's effectively I think the same for everybody. I believe the only other con that I've seen out there is some people who believe that you could have gotten them in the second or third. Why not go for one of these impact players? And for me, Jihad Campbell's there. I know that's KG's guy. It would have been another Bama boy, a linebacker who can get home and get a little pressure into the backfield. That was something that I know when the pick was right there among a couple of the others that you mentioned, we all believe those are your pick players. But Brad Holmes and Cole seem to be so gung-ho about this being the pick that it makes me that much more confident that going forward in this draft, they're going to do something. They're going to address edge. Or at least I hope they do.
And that could make everything look different. And I'm certainly not panicking. I'm kind of just presenting both sides and what slightly gave me a little cause for pause. But I'm certainly not out on Tyleik Williams. But one thing I do want to present, though, as well, just because I think it's important to do so. I want to point out his pass rush win rate last year as opposed to all the other first-round defensive tackles to really kind of highlight that he was definitely fifth of all of them in terms of pass rushing upside and pass rushing production to me. As you can see, last year's pass rush win rate, Derek Harmon, 17.6%, Mason Graham, 13.8%, Walter Nolan, 10.9%, Kenneth Grant, 9.4%, and Tyleik Williams, 6.6%. Chase, you threw your arms up. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask the question. Like, I feel like we're kind of getting into this territory of when people would criticize Ndamukong Suh's sack numbers, like what the role of this player is going to be isn't to produce the sack numbers. They're going to be a cog in the middle of this defense that's going to be a problem. They're going to command multiple offensive linemen and draw more attention away from the edge players who are going to be able to reap the rewards from that extra attention paid towards the middle of the offensive line.
And that's 100% fair, and I'm not mad at that at all. But that's why it's win rate. I'm not really necessarily looking at sacks because I'm not even necessarily worried about Tyleik Williams' lack of sacks. He didn't have that many, but that wasn't really his role. And I get what you're saying. If Tyleik Williams is that just epic space eater, if he's a partner to Alim McNeill, if he's a DJ Reader archetype, that's certainly not a bad pick at 28. I just wanted to present this because Tyleik Williams, by the numbers, was not as effective as a pass rush. There's a reason why he's 28 and guys like Mason Graham and Derek Harmon were higher. And for the record, I know that none of them were available for the Lions to get at that mark. I just wanted to put some numbers to my claim earlier because, I don't want it to be just like, trust me, bro. Because you know that I don't operate like that. And just one more, I want to give the pressure rates, because this is just last year. Pressure rates for their entire careers, because everybody's career was certainly longer than 1 year. This is pressure rate for college career. Derek Harmon, 11%, Mason Graham, 10.3%, Walter Nolan, 9.5%, Kenneth Grant, 8.8%, and Tyleik Williams, 8%. He's the worst on this one in terms of pressure rate, but this one isn't as glaring. But at the end of the day, do the Lions need him to be just a pass rushing demon, or do they need him in a different kind of role? As you said, double team, space eater. We'll never know. It's just that I think with this pick at 60, they have to address a pass rusher. I know Josiah Stewart might be on the board, Jared Ivey, but I don't think that Tyleik Williams is ever going to be like a high sack or high pressure guy. He's going to play a different kind of role, and that's okay, by the way.
Yeah, and he's nasty too. Like the hits, his ability to wrap up, especially with running backs in this NFC North division. I'm okay with this pick, and I am where you are as it relates to you got to address pass rush, edge, and I'm wondering how when you're Brad Holmes and you're looking at how this draft is falling, certain players that we thought could go top 15, top 20 are falling to bottom of the first round and into the second round. And as you're kind of watching this, I'm wondering how much of this influences what Brad Holmes is doing. With going and getting what he believes, because he said it, we're going to go and get a best player. We're going to go and get somebody we believe fits our overall vision and not necessarily the need. And that, to me, is what Tyleik Williams fits in multiple facets. Not just a rotation player, not just depth. We're talking about depth, not just a little bit of versatility in that interior of the line, but also a guy who can make sure that Alim McNeill and his ability to get healthy. Some of the older guys that we have on this line, that those guys can be more in tandem, in rotation, more fresh. For a lot of different reasons, I like this. And I remember when we were going early on and they made some picks along the offensive line. It was early on, and we all were talking about, you know what? Hey, we got to keep our strength the strength. And I do believe that this is one of those picks to try and bolster that. But I'm not going to sit here and also double talk. And one side of this thing is going to be, yes, I trust in Brad Holmes. But on the other aspect of it, you want pass rush help. You want to get that pass rush help. We've been talking about bookend help for Aiden Hutchinson for so long. And we believed that Zadarius Smith was going to finally be that we were okay with if there wasn't a Myles Garrett or if there wasn't a Trey Hendrickson or if there wasn't a Max Crosby. We were like, okay, we will ride with Big Z, but then they get rid of him. I'm glad that he is, I guess, just a phone call away. And I'm hoping that is something that the Detroit Lions do, even if they do address edge in this draft.
And Burn, nice little segue from what you were saying. The first round was very weak and no one wanted to move around. Only one trade until the 20s, which was a pretty big trade. Shout out the Jaguars for getting their guy in Travis Hunter. More on that in a little bit. I could see a ton of second and third round movement today. And I also saw somebody ask about Landon Jackson. Hey, that would make a KG's fever dream come true. And I don't know if he would last till 60, but it's also interesting to speculate whether or not Brad Holmes will trade up in the second round, and whether or not
if you didn't trade
that
back, would you really use extra capital to trade up?
That's an interesting question.
You don't really think so.
I think you could get. I'm a Josiah Stewart guy. I also like Jared Ivey. I know that Chase does as well. But what if he shocks the whole world and moves up for like Donovan Izaraku? I would probably come in Monday on one. I don't think it's going to happen.
I was going to say, is any pipe being laid?
Oh, yes. Well, yeah.
800 big pipe.
But JB Smooth.
What's up?
You were grinded last night, but you were doing the entire show.
JB's the GOAT.
Oh, go ahead.
I said JB's the GOAT.
He absolutely is the GOAT. 100%. But what is your thoughts just on the Tyleik Williams pick? Do you think this is a good one for the Lions? How can he help this team?
I don't think it's a bad one. I think this is definitely one you'll have to wait and see. I think this is definitely a good pick for the future of this team that we're very hopeful for as well too. Obviously, with the initial pick last night, not a lot of people were happy about it. As you've seen in that video, or if you were watching the live stream a little bit when it got announced as well too, the room was silent except for Spinny, who was on one and very happy last night. Which, shout out to my boy Spinny once again. He called it 100%. But a lot of that room was
heated, man.
Yeah, a lot of people in that room was just silent and quiet, and it was just like, all right, we got a guy, and hey, maybe we didn't have this guy on our radar, but he is definitely someone to look out for. No, it's not the sexy pick that we all wanted, that we were all hoping for, or that we thought Brad would do. But once again, Brad could care less about what we think he should do. He's going to do what he feels is best needed for this team, and you got to give it to Tyleik. I mean, I like the guy's football IQ. He does present a lot of great things for this team. You got your run defender, and honestly, it goes through us for running now. And I definitely think he will be, or he's going to have to be your day one starter, because you're a little bit worried about Aleem coming back after that ACL injury. So he'll definitely be a very nice rotation piece, but I think he'll pick up things very quickly, and you know what? It sets up a very nice future for this front line.
Well said, JB. And there was a lot of other teams that pick, though. And when we come back, I just want to get everybody's just brief rundown of any pick that they liked, anything that shocked them, before we move on and have to dissect, unfortunately, that Pistons loss. But tell us about Jars, JB.
Jars? 1 second, I gotta get that read going on, because I actually did the wrong one yesterday, but it still doesn't matter. Shout out to Jars once again. Jars wants you to welcome to the Deli Day, a statewide celebration on May 3rd to kick off their full deli style experience. Jars will be hosting the Deli Day on May 3rd, offering a stacked lineup of in-store promotions. Customers can receive a free eighth of flour, that's a $20 value, while supplies last. Take advantage of their BOGO deals on deli-style flours as well, too, up to an ounce. And the first 100 customers will score a free half ounce. So that's a lot of ounces going around, if you know what I mean. That date marks a significant milestone for Jars, as it's their anniversary of the retailer's opening its very first store in Detroit. A very fitting tribute to its roots and continued evolution. For more info on Deli Day and participating locations, go to www.shopjars.com or follow them on their Instagram right now at jars_life for more updates.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit. but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering top-notch injury advice. You guys got to trust the guy that DMAC does. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. Welcome back, people. It is Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you all for choosing to kick off your day with the Woo Crew. And Detroit was electric yesterday, man. You had the Tigers coming off of another series win, AL Central leading Detroit Tigers. You had the Detroit Pistons and what the most impactful playoff game in 17 years here in the state, in the city of Detroit. And then you had the NFL draft. You have to also understand, it's not just let Brad Holmes cook season in the draft, but he also went and said, hey, Kirby Joseph, here's the bag. Highest paid safety in the NFL, not just in NFL, but in history.
NFL history. Yeah, and a lot of other teams besides the Detroit Lions are trying to find one of their next big stars. And I want to first discuss, just kind of go a little bit around the NFC North because, you know, these are the direct competitors. The Chicago Bears, they shocked everybody by picking former Michigan tight end Colston Loveland at 10. Very, very interesting.
Flannel question, is he dead to you now?
I mean, I want him to fail because he plays for the Bears. Do I think he's going to be good, though? I absolutely do, but I also wonder what the Bears are really thinking because they do have Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet is one of those guys of the Bears that I respect. He's formidable, but I also see the way that Cole Kmet's contract is structured that they could get rid of him after this season and save a pretty good amount on the cap. And then the next year, and because he's under contract for 3 more years, but he doesn't have a big dead cap number. So if they decide that Colston Loveland is the guy moving forward and they don't want to do necessarily a 2 tight end offense, Cole Kmet is cuttable. But with Caleb Williams, man, they gave him some O-line reinforcements with free agency, and now they're getting him another weapon. This offense could be pretty formidable if Ben Johnson, who to his credit is a damn good offensive mind, if he knows how to utilize the pieces well. We'll see. It's certainly a shock, though. I think they should have gone somewhere else if I'm a Bears fan, which obviously I'm not, but maybe they just want to create like a super offense.
That one was shocking, except for the fact that it's so deliberate a pick on the offense that you have to believe Ben Johnson has a plan here. And everything that they've been doing, including for the Chicago Bears, including all out, stop the presses for Ben Johnson. It's been to help Caleb Williams. It's been to bring in everything to help him. That's why they went and got Ben Johnson. We saw what they did with the offensive line in the free agency, and now they go in the draft and they make another big investment in the offense because Caleb Williams, if it doesn't work out for him, if you're not protecting him, if you're not giving him the weapons, you're not giving yourself a chance.
Yeah.
They've had decent defenses. They've had decent defensive performances. The problem is they haven't had good sustained offense. They've had flashes. They've had things to like about Justin Fields. There's been things to like about Caleb Williams. But with both of those guys, they just haven't been able to keep them upright enough, and they haven't been able to give them the right weapons to really get some sustained drives. So you see a lot that you like, but if these guys, if the best of your offense is because they're making something happen with their feet because they're always on the scramble, you're not going to win too many games.
No, you're not, and that's why they at least attempted to do what they did in the offseason by adding guys like Joe Tooney and Drew Dahlman, and of course Jonah Jackson. I think that was a terrible trade, but time will tell. The Packers, Jonah Jackson he's stealing money. He's stealing money, but the Green Bay Packers, they actually went and got a guy who had a meeting with the Lions, and some people thought was linked to the Lions, Mr. Matthew Golden, giving Jordan Love another receiver to play with. And I think, to me, that this signals that they don't believe in Christian Watson anymore, or that Christian Watson hasn't showed a consistent ability to stay on the field. He obviously suffered an ACL injury late last year. Obviously, you don't wish that on anybody, but there's always been something nagging with Christian Watson, and when he plays, he does have the flair for big plays. We've seen it firsthand, especially on that Thanksgiving Day game in 2023. But, the Packers, they've got a lot of solid receivers, but they don't really have a number one. But I'll say this. I don't know if Matthew Golden really fits that. I think he's kind of a Jaden Reed, Christian Watson hybrid type, which isn't bad, but I don't think Golden fits your need for number one. But at the end of the day, there was no number one receiver available at that time. The only one, in my opinion, that was Tetairoa McMillan, and he's Bryce Young's toy now at Carolina.
And I wonder what the idea is with Matthew Golden. Is it to, especially when you think about the NFC North, is it to try and get away from some of the cornerbacks, some of the secondaries that you're going to be facing? Get somebody who is a little bit quicker, somebody who is a little bit newer and fresher to the situation, is somebody who's coming in can build up this chemistry as a younger player with Jordan Love from day one. No preconceived notions. Just players just stepping in from day one to just do work. And that's where I wonder if that's where they're looking at. You take a wide receiver in this first round of the draft, you're expecting that wide receiver to have an impact in your first year. And I do. I look at the Detroit Lions, all the moves that these guys are doing. Of course, they're going to make sure that they can try and posture with the other teams in the NFC North. But the one that you have to make sure you are beating is the Detroit Lions. They've been the kings of the division the last couple years. And Jordan Love has been uncomfortable. He's had a game, but besides that, the Detroit Lions have largely had their number. And this is an interesting pick for the Green Bay Packers.
Well, and you have to, if you're the Green Bay Packers, you've got to get as much around Jordan Love as you can, just for their sake. Obviously, you got to look at it from their side every once in a while.
He's good with timing. He's good with the pockets. He's good on the run. Yep. This is one that I believe the pairing of those two, it could work out pretty well.
It could for sure. And the Vikings, they went after and got Donovan Jackson, guard from Ohio State. I know that's Broder's guy. I know he was a little bit, I wouldn't say sick over that one, but maybe felt like, dang, I wish he didn't go to the Vikings. But yeah, I can understand that. Donovan Jackson wasn't necessarily my favorite offensive line prospect, but I see what the Vikings are doing because they do have two really good tackles in Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill. So shoring up the interior of that offensive line, I don't hate it for them. Obviously, if you're moving forward with J.J. McCarthy, they've got weapons, they've got tackles, but you need to insulate him too. And also they've got a really good offensive head coach as well. And that's the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to insulate J.J. McCarthy as much as you can and make life easy on him because we know it's tough coming in as a rookie, but it's also got to be tough coming in having missed your rookie year due to injury and not really having live reps when he probably needed them. So don't hate the pick for the Vikings, and they have Aaron Jones as well. So J.J. McCarthy actually has a pretty good situation, in my opinion.
And as it relates to the NFC North, I guess with the Lions in particular, I see CBS Sports. I sent that to the Slack as well, JB.
Yep. I'm getting it up right
They gave a grade for the Detroit Lions selection of Tyleik Williams in the first round, and that is a C+.
Damn.
What is your grade of the selection of Tyleik Williams, Sam?
My grade, B. But obviously, it's just after the draft, having dissected it a little bit, it's kind of silly to give out grades this early anyway. But I would say B. I see what they're doing, but I think that they could have gotten more special at that pick. But I also don't think Tyleik Williams really has any chance of being bad. I think he's going to be solid no matter what. And when you're a Super Bowl caliber team, that's might be all you need.
And I was going to say, especially with how you broke that down, that's why you give him a solid B, because you don't, if you're grading a prospect right now, this has to do everything about what you think his foundation is and what you believe the organization, the players around them, the development, where they can get him. And that's where you say a solid B. Because to me, this grade, at least for this player, goes up depending on what else Brad Holmes does in this draft. I'm glad that the consensus is that, at least amongst us, is that he's a solid player, especially for, at his position, who's going to contribute to the Detroit Lions this season. And whatever Brad Holmes does from here is only going to increase this for me. And I know this, as it relates to on the field work, this Lions team, you look at the picks of Brad Holmes, how many of us have done that pre-snap judgment of some of these picks and then look at how they work out? I remember how many people were in the camp of Bijan Robinson was right there. But instead, this Detroit Lions team decided we want to be able to go, and we think that Jahmyr Gibbs is a more special player. We've seen them do this with even a Jamison Williams. And so when I'm looking at what this Lions team has done underneath Brad Holmes being kind of the master eye of, and he said this before the draft, he said sometimes it's not about who they are today. Sometimes it is about who these guys will become in the future when we need them. He said sometimes a need, that was the quote. He said sometimes the need isn't today. Sometimes we draft a player to fit a need that's going to pop up in a year or two. And so that's where you trust what Brad Holmes is doing. But as it relates to CBS and applying a grade, I'm glad that you added the context that you did. From a foundational standpoint, you really can't be mad at this.
No, certainly not mad. Maybe just a little bit desirous of
pass rush,
a little bit more, but that's okay. I'm not. I'm Flannel Sam. I'm not Brad Holmes, and I'm certainly not mad at this. And speaking of great GMs, I think we also, before we talk Pistons, we got to talk about how the Eagles were able to get Jihad Campbell.
Damn it.
I hate to sound too simplistic about this, but the fact that Howie Roseman identified him and even traded up just one spot to be sure that they would get him, that leads me to believe that Jihad Campbell might be in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year, or at least be somebody who's really good for a long time, because this is what Howie Roseman has done. This is really how one of the ways in which Howie Roseman was able to build a team that won the Super Bowl, primarily off the back of their D-line, but also their revamped secondary as well. Like in the 2023 draft, it was like, oh, you're just going to let Jalen Carter fall to us, huh? Okay.
And sure, we'll take him.
Yep. Well, you're just going to let Nolan Smith fall to us at 30. Okay.
We'll
and
take
Nolan
him.
Smith, it took him a year, but last year he was very impactful. Oh, you're going to let Quinyon Mitchell fall to 22, even though he was the first corner taken. I thought Quinyon Mitchell personally was a top 15 talent. He's just like, okay. Oh, you're going to let Cooper DeJean fall to the second round? Are you kidding me? Pick. Howie Roseman was probably hard while he was doing it, as he should have been. And this is kind of the same thing with Jihad Campbell. You're going to let this guy, who in some projections was projected as potentially a top 15 pick, fall to us? Okay. The Eagles, we got to give them their respect. They're the defending Super Bowl champions, and Howie Roseman has proven to be an absolute demon, an absolute thief. And they got Jihad Campbell. Am I saying I'm guaranteeing Jihad Campbell's going to be great? You can never do that.
Campbell.
But Howie Roseman has proven that he knows how to identify talent damn near better than anyone in the league.
And do you believe that any of the edge rushers, pass rush help that dropped today too, do you believe they will drop far enough for the Lions to be able to select them, or are they going to have to trade up? For like the Mike Greens of the world, or the Scortons, or the Donovan Ezerakus, I think they'd have to trade up. But I think that Brad Holmes was telling you that either he's a wizard or that he just didn't want any of those guys, and he thinks somebody like Jared Ivey or Josiah Stewart is valuable at 60. We'll see.
I would love it if they were to pull something or one of those guys were to drop
Jackson.
all the way to 60. Landon Jackson as well. Shout out KG. We'll see. I would almost, though, I'm not going to full-on blood bank guarantee it, but I'm pretty certain that the Lions will take an edge rusher today. I'd be shocked if they didn't.
Yep. Hey, but you know what? Brad Holmes, he cooks up every single draft. Sometimes it takes a few years to see some of the fruits of that labor, some of those dividends. But this one is one that I'm very, very comfortable with. And as all of Detroit is, we're just looking forward to how the rest of this draft shakes out. See if we do get some pass rush help, and we get in here on Monday, and we can hopefully have a victory show, multiple victory shows. We get pass rush help and Pistons win.
Hey, and unfortunately, we didn't get a double victory show today because the Pistons did drop Game 3 at home, and we got to break it down when we get back from the other side of the break. But JB, where are we going here?
Buddy's Pizza.
Buddy's Pizza.
Buddy's Pizza has been serving the original Detroit-style pizza since 1946. And 79 years later, they have 22 locations in this great state of pure Michigan. Fans can still visit where it all began on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. Sign up for Buddy's Rewards to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app and start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal. Save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MIL. So that's the number 10 and then MEAL. Buddy'sPizza.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com. Fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Dreaming of a new home, but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Oh, man. Wake up, Kool-Aid. What up, though, people? It's Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you for choosing to kick off the day with the Woo Crew. Man, so much energy yesterday. So much energy in the city. And we got a Detroit Pistons playoff game in LC. It was a lot of hope. And that was the thing that I heard from a lot of different fans and people we interacted with is just how hopeful it is. But, JB, let's get those videos, man. Just to give you guys a little bit, we were boots on the ground. We got some pregame video. We got postgame video. And then we could just hear from T Grizzly right after that, too.
All right, let's try this out.
What up, though, people? We are at LCA, where Game 3 between Pistons and Knicks is about to go down, and you can already feel something a little bit different. Chevrolet Plaza is rocking, fans already lining up at the door, and the players are out here getting it in the shoot-around. This is a great opportunity for the Detroit Pistons to take a stranglehold in this series and go up 2-1 on the home court, taking advantage of all the energy that you know the city of Detroit is going to bring. Stay tapped in, man. Let's go, Detroit Pistons, Woodward Sports. Man, what a game. This is not the result you want tonight. 118-116, the Knicks, they take this one, and they take this one because Jalen Brunson, he put up a big game. 30 points, like 9 assists, 7 rebounds. He was on one, and you know what? The Knicks, they played a lot tougher. We're about to go to the press conference and talk about it, but let me know what you feel about this
series for the Pistons. The Knicks take a 2-1 series lead now. And Detroit Pistons, they fought to the end, but they're going to have to definitely pull out all the big stops on Sunday to try and even this series. Hey, let's rock.
What up, though, man? You got to talk to me about this environment. How it's going to go down tonight for the Pistons?
Man, we in the playoffs, man. You feel me? The Pistons about to get the dub. Send them boys back to the East Coast.
Hey, send them back to the East Coast.
Yes,
So you
sir.
blinged out for the occasion right now.
I got my wife with me.
Hey, let's go.
I got HD with me.
Let's go.
Got Josh with me.
Hey, let's go. Hey,
Got
that's how you go.
my son somewhere up in the suite. I got Obama with me.
Hey, let's rock.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you.
Obama chain,
Did
bro.
you see?
An iced out Obama chain.
Listen, the Detroit Stars showed up last night. When you talk about Detroit setting the stage and showing the NBA that, yes, you want to be able to have all-star games here. Yes, you want to make sure we get our fair share of the whistles because Cade Cunningham didn't. He got 3 free throw attempts last night, despite playing as aggressive as we saw him play in game 2. But the environment, just to kind of start there before we get into the breakdown and preview of the game 4, which is Sunday, man. Like these turnarounds seem to just be like right away. It was an awesome environment. We got to talk to a lot of fans who we will show some of those videos. So I know we have some people who are watching this morning who we got to talk to yesterday who said that they watch the show, they support the show, they appreciate everything that we do. And that stuff means the world. And that's what I do know that the Pistons fans, that's what they did bring to the Detroit Pistons last night. They did their part. The F. Brunson chants all night were epic. The let's go defense, from the final countdown, and they battled all night. But this team needs a little bit more. They need a little bit more. You knew that the New York Knicks were going to come out swinging. You knew that they were going to come out and fight. You knew that Jalen Brunson was going to try and push the issue to get to the free throw line. And the Pistons, they fall just short. I do appreciate their fight. 118-116 loss to the Knicks. But that second half, it seemed to be just in complete control of the New York Knicks. And you got a renewed effort out of guys like Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges, who I believe in that second half of the game, he just played a little bit more pesky. He seemed to be a little bit more confident, a lot more composed. You saw Josh Hart come up big in some of those kind of energy moments, like an extra rebound. I know he had a big layup, a putback layup late in that game as well. And it just seemed like everything down the stretch went the Knicks' way because the Pistons, they spent a lot of energy trying to get back into this thing.
They sure did, and it felt like they were climbing uphill the whole second half. Every time they would cut it to 4 or 3 or 1, or I think they even had a 1-point lead at one point, it was just followed by an immediate, it seemed like 6-0 run by the Knicks. I can't quantify that for sure, but that's just how it appeared to me when I was watching the game. One of my big takeaways from the game, and this is where I've got to give the Knicks a lot of credit. First off, Karl Anthony Towns is the most important player in this series. Not Cade, not Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns. Especially in games like last night when the Pistons didn't have somebody like Isaiah Stewart available to harass and probably be the most effective defender on Cat. I think there was a concerted effort both by Karl Anthony Towns, by Jalen Brunson, by Tom Thibodeau to make sure that what happened in game 2 would never happen again, where Karl Anthony Towns wasn't getting fed. He was getting really shut down in a lot of ways by Tobias Harris, and he was just basically taken out of the game. In this game, though, even though I don't think the defense on him was always bad, he was making just a lot of shots. 10 of 18, 4 of 8 from behind the arc, which is what you really worry about with Karl Anthony Towns because he's one of the best shooting big men ever. 31 points. He was magnificent. And he also played a big role in getting Tobias Harris into foul trouble because when you don't have Isaiah Stewart and when Tobias Harris has to go to the bench, when he has 11 less minutes in game 3 than game 2, there is nothing really that the Pistons can do with Cat. And they found that out. There were times where it looked like to me, and Kool-Aid, hopefully you can confirm this, did Malik Beasley and Dennis Schroeder sometimes have to guard Cat? We're switched onto him, and it's like, that's not good.
Yeah, no, it's not good. And that's the thing. My keys to victory, the number 2 one was keep Cat uncomfortable. Because if Cat goes off, then Cat has a chance to swing this thing. I do push back a little bit on him being the most important player. He's going to be one of your more impactful players for sure. But we've seen the Detroit Pistons weather good games from both Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson when, who I believe the most important player in the series, does score that 30 to 35 points per game, and that's Cade Cunningham. You look at the Pistons losing this game by 2 points last night, and we say you cannot shoot yourself in the foot. So as good of hero ball that I did see from Karl-Anthony Towns, who he definitely changed a lot of the narratives in terms of, like, is he soft? Is he going to show up big for his team? He did everything he was supposed to, but the Detroit Pistons did miss 5 free throws last night, which is something that you don't want to see them do. And as it relates to the turnovers, they cut it down even more from games 1 and games 2, but they did give up 14 turnovers in this game. And that's where, if you're the Detroit Pistons losing by 2 points and not finding the ways to be able to close that gap, it wasn't just what the New York Knicks were doing to make shots, because the Knicks would, like, miss a shot, have a turnover, then make a shot. But the Pistons, what were they doing? Miss a shot, have a turnover, miss a shot. That's how they were answering these runs, and the Knicks were giving them opportunities. Yeah. And that's where I do, like, yeah, if I had to rearrange it, at one point in time I thought it was Cade, Brunson, Cat. But I think it might be, in just my rankings in terms of the importance, it might be Cade, Cat, Brunson. Because when Cat is doing what he's doing last night, I believe he does help make the Knicks that much more difficult to beat, because he makes so many tough shots. And this, you said it right, it's not just Tobias that he's affecting. It's also Asar Thompson, who, again, is right back in foul trouble in this game. 18 minutes for Asar. And that was, I know, somebody that a lot of people believed. Shout out to Kuka Hill as well, who I know the Heavies caught up with and got some content with. And I got to talk to Rachel of CBS Sports, their sports reporter there. And myself as well, everybody was on this notion that Asar Thompson could and would affect this game in a positive manner if he could get playing time. But the notion is they're going to have to find a way to stay out of foul trouble. The refs are going to call it the way that they call it. For Cade and Brunson, it's unfortunate that it's more inconsistent for Cade Cunningham. For all the crying that you heard, Jalen Brunson's gotten free throws in every single game. Cade Cunningham got 3 free throw attempts last night. And that, you don't ever want to blame the refs because they still had a chance to win, and we know this. The Pistons have had to win games like that, and they're going to have to. They're going to have to in this series. But when that recipe is set, the Pistons are going to have to do different things, because there's a couple fouls there that Asar had, and he seems to have these every game. That's just like, bro, don't reach out. Just don't. They'll get a rebound, on offense. They'll miss something, and then he'll just go and reach. And it's like, oh, my word. We need every one of your 6 fouls on your one-on-one defense against Karl-Anthony Towns. That's where we need him spending those fouls, and that's what Stewart does well. That's what they're missing with Isaiah Stewart, not just the toughness and the physicality, because I do believe this entire team is that, but Stewart he's really good at moving his feet on the perimeter and not getting those fouls, but making sure that if I'm going to get a foul, it's going to be utilized at making sure Karl-Anthony Towns is uncomfortable. I just didn't see that last night.
No, unfortunately not. And Asar Thompson, what's unfortunate is that I thought he actually played pretty well in the third quarter, really helped spur a run when they, I believe, cut a 13-point halftime deficit at 1 point to 2. But I don't think you saw him at all in the fourth quarter, or just very, very limited minutes, 18. It hasn't been his best series, and I'm not going to kill him for it because he's having his first ever playoff experience. Yeah. But there's... Unfortunately, I gave a lot of credit to the Knicks, and I'm going to continue to give some later on, but unfortunately, there's people across the board who need to be better moving forward. Of course, it starts with Malik
Tobias
Beasley.
Harris.
Well, Tobias certainly offensively gave you only 5 points on 2 of 9. That's not good enough, and he got in foul trouble. And Malik Beasley, unfortunately, 3 of 18 from deep in his last 2 games. That's not going to get it done. And I understand that Tim Hardaway Jr. and Dennis Schroeder really picked up the slack when it comes to 3-point shooting, but he was a deserving 6th man of the year in the regular season, and unfortunately, Malik Beasley hasn't answered the playoff allegations just yet. Game 4, big game for him. I expect him to play better, but I'm just shocked at how many open threes he's just clanging off the rim. It's frustrating. I'm sure he's frustrated, and if he hits 1 or 2 of them, they probably win.
Hey, listen, man, don't tell KG that I don't think we can survive an off-shooting night by Malik Beasley, because I know that was one of his things. He believed if we get the big game from Jalen Durham, we can survive it. We've seen them win games, but realistically, what's been the large part of the recipes for this team winning games? It's been, especially against the New York Knicks, it's been Cade showing out. It's been Malik Beasley shimmies. What's one of the more iconic moments from this season before the playoffs from regular season? It's Malik Beasley hitting the dagger 3 and waving goodbye in Madison Square. And that's what you need. This isn't a time where in the playoffs where everybody in a team on the other side that's more experienced than you, is a little bit more talented than you, has a coach that's been there, and in these situations, you can't have just certain components of your team going. Do I believe Cade Cunningham is good enough to lift them above and out of some of their slumps and over? I do, but with the way Tibbs is going to defend him, you're going to have to get the contributions from multiple other people who have been there all season. You don't get to the playoffs and survive and thrive as an underdog, as a number 6 seed in the playoffs by having your, realistically, since Jaden Ivey went down, your number 2 scorer slumping in the playoffs. You can't have that. And from behind the arc, it matters. Because if they believe that you're not hitting the shot from outside, they don't have to respond as quickly. They can pack the lane for Cade Cunningham, and we saw it be a little bit more difficult for him at the rim. When you look at the Knicks, this is one of the trends that I often look at, and it's swayed each and every game. The Detroit Pistons did rebound well, but when you talk about those hustle stats, they got punked. They got punked. Listen, the New York Knicks only had 11 turnovers. That's a really good stat for a playoff team. But beyond that, when you're looking at the points in the paint, they beat the Pistons 46-36. That's been the indicator of who's winning these games. And it shows. That's why the Pistons got 28 fouls to the New York Knicks 22 fouls. Is Jalen Brunson going to get his? Yes, so I'm not going to complain about that. F him still, but I'm not going to sit up here and complain about it because we know what it's going to be every time. What I'm seeing, though, is beyond that, there's 46 points in the paint to your 36 when you're the team that had a historic streak this year at outscoring your opponents. This is a part of your recipe that they didn't get done. And then when you take a look at those stocks, this is another thing that the Detroit Pistons generally are leading their opponents in on a per-game average. But the New York Knicks found a way, as the 29th ranked team in blocks, to get 7 blocks and 11 steals to the Pistons 6 steals and 4 blocks. These are the things that the Pistons thrive on, right? Transition offense. Number 2 team at turning steals into points. When those things aren't there for the Detroit Pistons, they're not going to win. These are indicative of the grit. Not that they're not playing tough. Not that they're not fighting and not that they're not battling. But when these things, when you're losing these battles, the Detroit Pistons are generally losing the game.
Yeah, and I think that's indicative, too, of the Knicks last night. I think last night was really the time where you saw the vision of what they believed that they could be in the offseason when they went after a guy like Karl-Anthony Towns, when they went after a guy like a Mikal Bridges and overpaid or gave way too much for Mikal Bridges, by the way, but
bro, they trio usaged us to death.
They did.
Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Jalen Brunson, absolutely. They just went on a usage fest. And that's just what it was. And the defense, they couldn't. JB Bickerstaff is going to. When we talk about the chess match, he's going to have to do something to slow that. We obviously know Karl-Anthony Towns and Brunson, they're going to be in prime position to get there because they are beyond special players. But when you have Mikal Bridges going out there, and it's not just scoring, because he put up some points in the last game. It's how he was doing it. It was activity he was bringing to the game on both ends of the court, and he looked like a much more engaged player tonight. The Pistons didn't make the Knicks feel uncomfortable. Did they make them feel like it was a fight? Yeah. But you know what I saw? As the Pistons were shoving, I saw the Knicks shoving right back. They didn't look like the team that I had seen prior be outmatched from a physical standpoint. And you know what? Maybe sometimes you can get a few more heartbeats when the heart stops, but we know that you need the heartbeat there. This is where is Stu going to be ready for the next game? I think that is a pivotal thing because they sorely miss Isaiah Stewart in this game.
They 100% did, and you're right about it was definitely more balanced this time. It wasn't, and that's I think a concerted effort by the Knicks. But if they're winning the points in the paint battle, if they're like killing us in stocks by us, I mean the Detroit Pistons absolutely
they doubled us up.
Yes, and you're also getting 20 apiece from Bridges and Iwobi, Towns and Brunson, and Bridges and Iwobi and Towns are all shooting efficiently from behind the arc. And then you have Josh Hart, who I have to do a little bit of a mea culpa on this one. I'm not good at post game, so I maybe undersold the role that Josh Hart played last night. But 11 rebounds and 9 assists. That's what the Knicks are capable of doing. They are capable of having a starting five in which multiple people can kill you, and they did it last night. And then a guy like Josh Hart, who is more looking to do the dirty work while being the best rebounding guard in the NBA, while being a much improved playmaker to where he's second on the team in assists. Credit to the Knicks, credit to Thibodeau. I think they made a concerted effort to have a more balanced attack, and they did just that. We all agree that in Game 2, I give credit to Brunson for how he played, but we know Anunoby didn't do anything, Towns didn't do anything, and a lot of that had to do with Tobias on Towns and Cade on Anunoby. But also, I think the Knicks, we all know that there was too much just Brunson. Wasn't like that in Game 3, and they were able to win. They have the offensive firepower to actually be that balanced and be that good.
They do, but I do know this. You get Cade Cunningham going in that scoring column again, and he has the ability to affect things, to balance things out. But let's hear from JB Bickerstaff, because you could tell he was annoyed with last night's loss. He definitely was, especially considering the fact that Game 1, they probably let one slip too. Let's hear from JB Bickerstaff.
JB, what's the mood of the team in the locker room right now? There's a lot in the atmosphere going for them. To lose like this could be pretty deflating. What are the guys feeling like right now?
We won't be deflated. Our guys are too committed to one another. We're not results driven. We'll show up Sunday. We're going to lay it on the line. We're going to fight like hell and see what happens. Appreciate you.
Yeah, and you see there, J.B. Bickerstaff and even Cade Cunningham. The one thing I know is this: J.B. Bickerstaff is bothered when they don't necessarily play up to the full standard. He's always bothered, and he talked about that in the press conference last night, but he did say this: oh, they're not folding at all. Cade Cunningham, the one thing I've appreciated about him, going out to All-Star weekend and being able to cover him amongst that, I wanted to see and Rod Beard, he's a guy that, as we started the Woodward Pistons platform, we wanted to see who these people were in between plays, who these people were on the bench when they're supporting their teammates, who they are in the community, who they are in their press conferences, who they are when they're amongst the other stars too. And Cade Cunningham is cool, calm, and collected. And last night, I got a sense of an individual who is ready to get back out there and do work. I think he knows that this series is going to call for him to score 30 to 35 points a game. That's the way that they've beat the Knicks. He's going to have to push the envelope. And honestly, even if the referees aren't going to give him those calls, and even if the Knicks are going to pack the paint, I do believe that there are a couple plays there. If J.B. Bickerstaff and co. are, film studying, which we know they are. They have an off day today, which means I do believe there's going to be a whole lot of film study to figure out what the Knicks did differently against Cade Cunningham. And to be able to get Cade back into the situations where the referees will call the call for him. Because there was a couple times I thought he could have gotten it, but it wasn't as kind of forthright and as obvious as it was in the prior game. And that's where J.B. Bickerstaff is going to have to kind of create some different looks and some different actions to get Cade Cunningham and a lot of this offense going back downhill so they can have an opportunity. And when you get there, Pistons hit the free throws. You talking about losing by 2 in a game where there were some important free throws even down the stretch.
Yeah.
I know it's just, some people say it's just 5 missed free throws, but you lost by 2.
Adds up. It definitely adds up. And I actually wanted, because we haven't probably discussed Cade enough considering he's the star, what is your opinion on the game that Cade Cunningham played last night? Because I think even on the Woodward Sports shows today, it's going to be a little bit split, with some people thinking he didn't do enough, with others thinking he didn't get enough calls. I think there's a little bit of both. Things can be true. Some people say that he needed to take over more. I think it's a very mixed bag even amongst our hosts, but what do you make of the way Cade played last night?
I thought he tried to take over more. He took 25 shot attempts, and if he's getting the free throw calls, if he's getting the foul calls, then some of those attempts go away as well. I believe you see Cade Cunningham, if he's getting the actual whistle he's supposed to, looking more like a player who's 10 of 21 on the night and probably hitting that 30 or 35 point mark. But instead, Cade Cunningham with only 3 free throw attempts, which we know in his career, this is something that he's going to have to play through. This is what the NBA has told him. Your superstar whistle, your star whistle, it's not going to be the same as everybody else's. So we can call it out as a factor. We know that, Tibbs went to the podium and was crying about that. I didn't see JB Bickerstaff or Cade Cunningham crying about it. So in my mind, they're just focused on going in and doing what they have to do to physically dominate this thing. And they've said it. If they're not going to call calls, then this bowl's better in our favor. You do want to see better balance. But when you look at what Cade Cunningham did in this game, he was a -4 and a plus-minus. But he put up 24 points, 10 of 25 shooting, which you want to see better efficiency.
For sure.
6 turnovers, some of those in some crucial, critical moments, which we've all talked about, including himself. Those have to be better. I think more than anything, those are the things that I'm going to look at, and I say, I would rather see that be better, even before people say certain efficiency numbers. But when you look at everything else, he did 11 assists, 7 rebounds, and the stocks last night. He put up 6, 2 blocks, and 4 steals. Cade Cunningham played tough. He played gritty. This is a series where, your numbers might not look the prettiest. And that's where I just want to know that these guys are going out there and fighting. And as Cade is realizing what type of whistle he will or won't get, adjust his game just a little bit. If he's getting downhill and they're not necessarily calling it, and the Knicks are packing in that lane, then you're going to have to start to rely a little bit more on getting to your pick and pops. His mid-range shots last night weren't pick and pops. They were more like he wanted to get downhill, saw the defense, then tried to spin. How many times do you remember Cade Cunningham getting to the lane and then trying to spin or put his back to the basket rather than come off the pick, hit him with how many times? Bro, the first 3 years of his first 2 seasons or 3 seasons, I always talked about his in and out hezzy off of the pick and roll into the mid-range. I didn't see that. I don't know if I saw one step-in mid-range jumper for Cade Cunningham, and you took 25 shots. And so that's what I want to see a little bit more of, getting him more to those spots at the elbow, free throw line extended off the elbow, to get him some cleaner looks with that free throw shot to loosen up that defense. Because the Knicks, they packed in that paint, and they paid a lot of attention to him and dared other people to beat them. Tim Hardaway got a lot of open shots that he cashed in on, and you're right. Malik Beasley hits 1 or 2 threes. These Pistons knock down their free throws. They have a great opportunity to be up 2-1 right now.
Yeah, and that's the crux of it, because I don't necessarily think that there was an issue with Cade's aggression or perceived lack thereof. It was just he was getting to the paint. It's just they were really trying to take that away from him. And he missed some shots, some layups, some ones that were contested, which he probably could have got called for fouls, and he didn't. Unfortunately, what's done is done. A lot of tough mid-range opportunities that weren't necessarily within the flow of how you usually see him take them. He's got to be better. He's got to hit more shots. I don't necessarily disagree with his mindset. I think he tried. I think he, more often than not, made the right basketball play, made some really impressive passes off of pick and rolls in the second half, even off of transition, that led to opportunities for guys like Jalen Duren. I'm not mad at that. I'm cool if every single time down the floor that Cade Cunningham makes the right basketball play. I'm not saying that he always did. I'm not saying that he didn't need to make more shots. But I don't have a problem with Cade Cunningham the way that he played. I think he tried to take it over. He's just 25 shots, you make 10 of them. It's not a winning formula. It's got to be better moving forward. Hopefully he can get more calls, and hopefully he can get less traffic when he drives to the paint.
It's interesting. You look at Jalen Brunson, and what's one of those things that I'm tracking that agitated me in game 1, and then I was a lot happier in game 2. It's the turnover battle and the assist to turnover battle between he and Cade Cunningham. And this is something as it relates to the maturation of Cade Cunningham's game. It's his first trip to the playoffs. This is something he's going to have to turn the tide on, because Jalen Brunson is back to Mr. 1 turnover now. He only had 1 turnover in last night's game. 9 assists, so that's even better than the first game where he had an 8-to-1 turnover assist ratio. And that was and then when you look at the 13 free throw attempts, that to me helps to skew those numbers. 9 to 20 from the floor. If he doesn't get that many free throw attempts, he's probably looking at a 9 for 23, 9 for 24 shoot night as well. And that's why I'm not that alarmed about Cade Cunningham's shooting efficiency. Cade Cunningham played a good game on the offensive side of the floor, and that's all you can ask for. It is the playoffs. These are our coaches going out there and making chess matches and making chess moves and such to try and take away the best of Cade Cunningham. And he's still went out there and stuffed the stat sheet in terms of points responsible for another game, another 40+. This is what you want out of the guy. If the ball's going to be in his hands, you want to know that your players that are around him have the best opportunity to score, right? When the ball's in his hands. That's what you want. And I do believe this. Cade Cunningham is one of those players, and the Pistons are going to have to be this team again. They bounce back from adversity. They bounce back. Cade Cunningham hates when he has losses, when he knows he could have affected the outcomes, especially when it's that close. He prides himself on trying to be a clutch player. He knows what it was during his rookie season. Even though they didn't win a lot of games, he still found himself in the top 5 in the NBA in clutch scoring. And so in this series where you know possessions are going to be at a premium, in this series where you know it's coming down now to the top guys that are going to have to get it done, this is where you definitely tip the cap to the type of series Cade's having right now. But you want to see him go out there and take it, like we all said prior, before the season starting, to that next level. You want to see him continue to keep it at, honestly, the level he had during the regular season against the Knicks.
And that's where Game 4, I'm predicting the best game of the series for him. And I know that's easy to do it because I think we've done it for every single game, but this is absolute must win. You cannot, if the Pistons drop Game 4, they're losing the series in 5. And that's not a hot take or anything like that. That would be devastating, not in the grand scheme of things, but in their chances to win this playoff series, especially with the first. That would continue the streak of home playoff wins would still be since 2008, and that certainly cannot happen. But you brought this up early. I don't think, and I know people hate it when I say anything nice about Jalen Brunson, I don't think he gets enough credit for how tight he is with his handles. He does not turn the ball over. He did in Game 2, and that probably played a role in the reason why the Knicks lost.
Tracking it, bro.
But Jalen Brunson is one of those high usage guys. Like most high usage guys turn the ball over a lot. Even guys like Luka and LeBron and Giannis and whatnot. Jalen Brunson is like a 2.5 turnover per game guy throughout his entire Knicks tenure.
For his
that's
usage,
elite.
it's incredible.
That's incredible. And that's big. I think that actually plays a pretty big role. Like, he's definitely more secure with the ball than Cade Cunningham is at this point in his career. I wonder if that has anything to do with why the stocks, there was such a disparity in the stocks. Obviously, the Knicks got their blocks, but the fact that Cade Cunningham is going to give you more opportunities for steals at this point in his career than Jalen Brunson.
And he gave them, though, more opportunities for blocks, too. Because Cade, trying to get downhill, there was a couple plays where he got blocked. I thought it was a foul. I thought it was clearly a foul.
100%.
But it is what it is. But you're right, Jalen Brunson, because I want to be fair. When you just talk about basketball, I hate the foul baiting part of it. But in terms of him being a point guard, taking care of the ball, that's why I started saying, bro, this is the stat that's going to agitate me. Because it does play a big role. The game they won, yeah. When you're disrupting their main usage ball handler, their main star, their point of attack from the offense, and he gave up 6 turns in Game 2. That's taking away 6 opportunities for them to get anything going. And some of those were down the stretch. What if they did force 2 or 3 turnovers from Jalen Brunson down the stretch of this last game? They probably walk away with a dub. But his handle was so tight, he's able to play with the physicality and utilize his strength. I don't even understand it sometimes, to bounce off somebody in the paint and get that stupid little off the glass shot to go. And it's just like, you know what? All you can really do is tip the cap to him in those instances because he's making a lot of tough shots. And despite the Pistons playing really aggressive defense, he's finding ways, at least in Games 1 and Games 3, to hold on to the rock. The Pistons, this is one where we talked about it. What is the Pistons' recipe for success on the defensive side? Making the other team uncomfortable, pushing the other team out of sorts. If they're not, you look at Game 2, what happened? They took the aggressiveness of Cat away. They just, you're a non-factor. And with Brunson, they forced him into turnovers. In Game 3, they reversed that. And the Pistons are going to have to scheme something up to get back into that. They're going to have to make those stars very uncomfortable because if not, they've shown you now those 2 guys can beat you.
They can. It's unfortunate. All you have to do, and obviously watching the game is more important, but all you really have to do is look at the box score. In Games 1 and 3, Cat was incredible and Jalen Brunson didn't turn the ball over. In Game 2, Cat was a ghost and Jalen Brunson uncharacteristically turned the ball over. Hopefully in Game 4, you'll see better defense on Jalen. I don't think the defense was necessarily bad. What's unfortunate, though, is that because Jalen Brunson is so much better at getting to his spots and finishing than I think we even will admit, it causes Asar, I think, to be overly aggressive, and he got called for some ticky-tack ones on Jalen Brunson as well. And unfortunately, if the refs are calling that, I don't know if I have a lot of faith in Asar Thompson playing a lot of minutes the rest of the series.
That's my question there. Yeah. Is that where, like, because you're talking about the chess matches, is that where the strategy is? You have to get Asar Thompson in this series.
Yeah.
You have to. I'm looking at even Ron Holland in his limited minutes and what his athleticism is doing. He doesn't have the strength, the athleticism, or even the what seems like the full court speed of an Asar Thompson. That's where I'm like, is there something JB Bickerstaff can do to put Asar Thompson in a better position? Because one of the things, I'm going to say this again, 3 games in foul trouble for Asar Thompson. I would rather see us roaming Asar. I just would. If these guys are going to get theirs, Brunson and Cat, I would rather see Asar Thompson be on the floor to give us a little bit more minutes, 30 minutes, closer to 30 minutes than the 18 that he's basically getting fouled out of these games. I think one of them was like freaking 14 or 15 minutes, and he was fouled out. You can't keep running it back the same way. I believe that that's one of the chess pieces that you're going to have to move. I know that you don't want to surrender having Jalen Brunson have life any easier, but my man went out there in 2 games now that Asar Thompson was the primary defender and put up a lot of points, got a lot of free throws, only gave up 1 turnover. And so we need Asar Thompson out there. We need, especially if Stu isn't there, that's where I thought it was a great opportunity to say, let's have Asar more or less roam, because we know that he can help to make things a little bit more difficult in the paint.
You've been preaching that even before I was preaching that. And honestly, you're right, because I don't know if Asar is honestly capable of guarding Jalen Brunson without fouling. If the refs are going to call it like that, the way the refs are calling it, yeah, that's doing. Trust me, I was going to finish with that. But one thing about Asar though, do we, and not killing anybody for this, I just have to ask the question: should Asar have played more in the fourth quarter? Or I don't even think he played at all in the fourth quarter, because he only had 4 fouls. He didn't have 5. Should they have at least put him out there more so that he can, if he gets 5, you sit him down again?
I feel like Asar Thompson is one of those guys who, if you're struggling in the half court, he gives you an opportunity to not. He cuts, he dives. Yeah. It's one dribble from the 3-point line, and he can lay it up. Pick and rolls. I don't freaking know where's the Cade Asar pick and rolls that I saw during like the first 5 games of his career.
Game 4. Gotta see him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, where are these runs? Where's getting him into offensive action? So much is put on what we thought we needed defensively out of him, when we really didn't have that for some of the recipes when we beat the Knicks before. What we had was good offensive cohesion and still tough-minded, gritty defense from everybody across the board. I thought we got that last night. I did. I thought we got good, tough-minded defense. The problem is sometimes offense also puts pressure on a team. Offense also, with the way that Asar Thompson plays, can put fouls on a team. Yeah. Remember, Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges and those guys, you look back to the last game, those guys were having some troubles with consistency because those guys were also getting foul calls. OG Anunoby, and that to me matters. And so I'm hoping they find a way, strategy-wise, to, you don't take Asar completely away from Jalen Brunson, but if he gets 2 fouls in the first quarter and you're bringing him back in the second quarter with those 2 fouls, just let him roam. Just let him roam, man.
Yep, Asar Thompson has averaged 21 minutes a game in this series, and last night he had 18. In a perfect world, you're going to have to get more than that. And the funny thing is, in Game 2, where they really had no choice, he actually fouled out. Of course, they win that game. It's basketball, NBA basketball, even though some people trash it, it is a funny game, and you win in a variety of different ways. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. But what would make sense is more minutes for Asar. You got to find a way to try to do it. I don't hate the idea of roaming more, because it doesn't seem like him being on Brunson is necessarily advantageous right now. In a perfect world, yes, but Brunson's also, he's really good at like stopping on a dime too, and just like baiting. And I get it, like people don't like me giving credit for that, but he knows what he's doing out there, man. It's not by accident.
It's an overly aggressive defender, man. JB, let's play those fan videos. We'll just play those back to back to back, because I know we we got to get to everybody's favorite segment as well. So let's play those back to back to back. And just before, obviously a lot of what we talked about is effectively the preview, but how are you feeling about Game 4? We know it is a must-win. What is that game prediction for you?
Honestly, and I said this on the postgame show last night, double-digit Pistons win. They come out with a sense of urgency that the Knicks just don't have. Even though the Knicks could really put the death grip on, I just think the Pistons, with their energy, the fact that they still have more depth than potentially Isaiah Stewart coming back, this is one where they get on early and don't really let up. The Knicks might make a run to cut it to maybe 9 in the fourth quarter, but the Pistons end up pulling away and winning this one by double digits. It's not a slappy thing. It's more of a series flow thing. A dub's a dub, but I think the Pistons will come out with peak urgency.
Yeah, peak urgency, and that's what we saw out of the Knicks as well. Like I said, how can they handle those flurries? The Knicks looked like a desperate team last night. They looked like a decidedly focused team who knew if we falter one bit, we lose this game, we lose this series. And they knew that, and they lost, and they only won by 2 points. And you see the effort that they put up. And so I believe that a flurry by the Detroit Pistons, they actually have enough on their offense. If they get their guys going, a Malik Beasley going, I do believe this Detroit Pistons team has the opportunity to do what you're saying, but I do believe it's still going to be close. I'm looking at this one being one where they grind it down again, where they try to slow down that pace, where they try to play off of Cade Cunningham, not just pick and rolls and him on ball, but also get us some Schroeder and Cade minutes so Cade can do some off-ball sets and stunts. Get him in some pick-and-roll actions where he can do some back-to-the-basket things against Michael Bridges. Make those guys work against the Josh Hart. Make those guys work and try and get fouls on them and try and press really getting into the penalty. But I do have the Detroit Pistons winning this game 111-105.
All right, well, that's a good score. I guess I'll give my score prediction then. 120-107.
Woo,
and like I said,
let's go.
it's not a slappy thing, it's a series flow thing. I mean, we've all seen this watching playoff basketball. You're seeing it this year. The Lakers couldn't fall down 0-2 to the Timberwolves at home, so they ramped up their game, specifically their defense. You can say the same thing with the Rockets against the Warriors. And I know that Jimmy Butler got hurt, but it was looking like it was going to be a pretty comfortable Rockets win regardless. And Jalen Green woke up to the tune of 38, where in game one he was terrible. Even the Memphis Grizzlies last night, even though they blew it and they gave it up, they came out and took a 26-point lead at halftime because of the urgency. They had to win that game or else they were finito. They are finito because they ended up losing, but that urgency can really carry you through. It's a tale as old as time in the playoffs. Series flow is one of the most fascinating things in all of sports, in my opinion, because it just always rears its ugly or pretty head, depending on who you're rooting for.
But I know, KG.
Yeah, I don't think the Pistons should be worried at all, because when you look at just the series of offensive runs between both of these teams, they were like going back and forth. This series has been the definition of back and forth. And while they didn't play their best game, I don't think they need to be worried at all. They got everything that they need. I just need a better showing defensively from this Pistons team, because while they did play physically, and you do admire the fact that they went out there and put forth an effort, it just wasn't good enough. You had 4 starters for the Knicks finishing with 20 or more points. While that can play into your favor because they're going to get tired, you're not really seeing a lot of those reserves coming in the game. They're putting it on their backs to go out there and beat the Pistons. I do think you have the advantage in that regard. So I just would like a better defensive showing. And of course, you just need more from other people on this team. Malik Beasley has been struggling. He did better as the game went on last night, but you absolutely need more from him. Tobias Harris, he has to show up again and be the Tobias Harris that we saw in the first 2 games. And Cade, while I don't think Cade played a bad game at all, you cannot come up here and say that he did. I just would like to, I guess in certain situations, especially late in games, play more hero ball, especially on a night where Dennis Schroeder and Tim Hardaway Jr. are the only other people providing offense for this team. So, but I got the Pistons winning 108-104. I think they find a way to bounce back in this next game. You're still at home. You still have that crowd behind you. You're not going to get the calls, and I'm not even going to get into what I feel about the calls. I'm not going to put the whole game on the calls, however, because you didn't play good enough to win. But I think they come back. They play good enough defense to win this game, and you get a better offensive showing, maybe from a Malik Beasley and other people on this team.
I like that, man. What up, though, JB Smooth, and then Cavassier, we'll let you round it out.
I mean, credit to this Pistons team. Last night showed you that they're scrappy, and that environment last night shows that also New York Knicks, you're walking into a hostile area because it's been a long time since we've seen playoff basketball, and I'll tell you, last night it looked like a fight. It honestly, every possession just seemed like a scrap. Credit to this Pistons team. They were giving an all-out effort, except for Tobias Harris. But anyway.
Chill out.
But anyway, like KG said, you can't even fault Cade for this at all. He tried the best he could to put this team in the right position, if anything. And I think this next showing, like you said, this is do or die. You need this win right here. So honestly, this is an all-out effort for this team. Give me Pistons 115, Knicks 102.
All right,
like
double-digit victory, like I say.
I like that.
Very nice.
Cavassier?
I don't have an exact score prediction, but I definitely have the Pistons bouncing back in this next game. It was such a close game, even with, like JB said, the lack of effort, and performance from Tobias Harris. You had classic Tobias in the playoffs. So just
5 fouls.
It was like
After one game,
it was like a
damn.
it was like a reverse Godfather, KG. Just when I thought I was in, he pushed me right back out.
That's your ass. Hey, Tobias. It's a tough game out there, man. The Knicks ain't no slouches, dog. They not.
Even America. Sorry.
Yeah,
I mean, you had the same
One of the greatest opening lines in
NBA
the
history,
I hear
by the
you,
way,
Al
but go ahead.
Pacino, though. Go ahead.
Same minutes as Duran just did.
But
last.
yeah, like he did the reverse Godfather last night. Hoping he bounces back. I'm not completely off the ship, but definitely gotta do more to be more of a number 2 for Cade, at least in the starting unit, because obviously we're seeing a little bit of a slump from Malik Beasley, but hopefully he bounces back in this next game, can shoot the ball a little bit better, and then hopefully we see a healthy Stu, at least getting, even if it's just limited action. I think him out there for even 10 to 12 minutes plus UT-Foss would be enough to help stifle Cat a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. And you know what? Hey, chat family, put what you think is gonna happen. Let's hear from those fans, and then we'll say what up to some people, and we can get the people what's trending today.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, let's rock. Let's rock.
Tell the people who we with right now.
Hey, from California, man. LA, I watch him every day, man.
Hey, tell the people your name.
Izana, man. Izzy. Izana Abraham.
That's right. And what the Pistons gonna do tonight?
We're going about to blow out them Knicks, man.
Let's go.
Blow out them Knicks.
Let's go.
Damn right.
Let's go. Let's go.
Baby.
And who you rocking tonight? And you got 2 jerseys.
The GOAT.
Chauncey Billups and the other point guard.
Hey, the GOAT one day, man. I do Kate Cunningham. Let's go. In the making, man.
Let's rock. Hey, thank you for the
I watch
support.
you guys all the time, man. Every day.
Let's rock.
Hey.
What up, dog, man?
What up, man? How you doing, man?
How's that environment feeling?
Bro, it's feeling great, man. Outside is amazing. It's gonna get even better outside. I'm so excited, man.
You got your back to work shirt on?
Yeah, man. We back to work, man. Everyone better be wearing this shirt, bro. We super excited, man.
Let me get the Pistons. Let's go. Let me get some love.
Yeah, what's up? This is Let's Go, baby.
Let's go. Let's rock. Thank
Let's go, Pistons!
Yes, sir.
Beat the Knicks.
Hey, give me your final score prediction. Because I'm hearing some people out here, a lot of fans in the building, they're saying it's a blowout tonight.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go 110-99 Pistons.
Let's go, man. Y'all heard it here
Yes,
first.
sir.
Let's go. Detroit
My boy
Pistons,
Kool-Aid.
let's go.
Let's go.
Appreciate
Beat
you,
the
bro.
Knicks. Hell yeah.
Beat the Knicks.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go.
Hey, man, I appreciate
Go Pistons! And fuck you, Jalen Brunson.
That one blew up on social.
Yeah, it
Shout out
did.
to JB cooking up, man. And I know the heavies, Nick and some of the others from the squad, they got out and they got a lot of content amongst the people because Detroit was buzzing yesterday. And the only thing that would have made this better, honestly, is if the Pistons got a win, and for some people, if Brad Holmes drafted an edge rusher.
So for a lot of us, it wasn't a great night. And by us, it was the Pistons losing Game 3 made it a bad night automatically. The draft could not make up for it in any way, shape, or form. But for the record, I'm not mad at the Tyleik Williams pick. I would have done different if I were Flannel Holmes. I am not Flannel Holmes. I am Flannel Sam. He is Brad Holmes. JB,
take it away.
All right.
Hey, shout out to the people too, man. All the people.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
He's giving you the best Tobias slander in the city. My boy, JB Smooth, man. What's up?
Hey, F you, Brunson. But what up, though? JB Smooth. I was about to use the government.
Yeah, you about to use the full government. What's going on, everybody? Got a couple videos. So let me
Hey, you the real JB.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I'm the real
Let me just hop into these videos real quick because I know we're a little bit short on time. But guys, I got a new Vegas hack for us once we get out there for the Summer League. Tell me what you think.
What?
Hell no.
How much money my man got?
We're betting faster now.
I don't see how this really helps you, but
how much money do you have in there? I mean, like my man is on just like rapid fire debt.
I mean, so you gotta lose to win. Like I mean,
Yeah, you got to be in it to win it.
Pays to lose, huh?
Man.
I'm saying we got a new
one
hack.
of the things that I'm most thankful for in life is that I don't have a gambling addiction because I can see how it could get that way.
Oh yeah.
This guy's next step is rehab. With respect, get some help, sir.
I like his big musketism though. He just tried to just pass by. You got to be in it to win it.
Yeah, right now I'm the enabler. Actually, you've got to be out of it to not be a degenerate. There you go. This is degenerate behavior, objectively. Come on, we all know it is. Just place a bet like a human.
I just place a normal bet.
And
like
what was
human.
that he was using? That was like a massager?
Yeah, that was a little massage gun.
I wonder how sanitary that thing is.
Probably
not good anymore. But yeah,
what the hell he doing with the massage?
Yeah.
We will never know. Guys, I've got a new way to cook pizza for you when you're at home. If you don't have an oven or an air fryer.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Throw that boy in the dryer.
It's the same thing as the air fryer.
Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm not putting food anywhere where I wash my clothing.
Why is
There's a
there
rack.
a tray in there? Like this is like what they meant to
It
do.
don't
bro.
even look like a dryer though. It really don't.
No, not at all. I can't do it.
Anybody trying it?
So
go
we've
ahead,
seen people
George.
steam
Okay, I hear
stuff.
you. Yeah, I wouldn't want my food to smell like it, but it's the same function as an air fryer, like scientifically.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if and obviously I wouldn't go through all of this effort, but if I could take just some time to deep clean my dryer, I would do this as an experiment.
Why not? When you have a stove.
I get it. I
You
get
have
it.
a stove and a microwave.
I know.
You want to do this?
I know. There's no reason to do that. This piqued my interest. I mean, JB is great at what he does. He gets videos that make me be like, maybe I should try that.
Dryer pizza. Nick is. I don't know if are you intrigued or are you offended by the gesture? Hey, let me know, man. Who's tried this? Because we've seen people steam stuff in the dishwasher. We've seen people cook things a couple different times in the dryer.
Everything.
Oh,
but the
somebody
stove,
made
like,
burgers, right?
In the washing machine.
It's-
or no, the dishwasher.
Yeah. Someone made them on a dishwasher, but then somebody else did it on a freaking iron. It was just like, bruh, what? Somebody else did it on a car?
Oh yeah.
Why can't people just
You're
like
just
KG said,
innovative
man? We
out
got
here.
air fryers now.
You walking right past the stove and the microwave to do this shit. Yeah, just.
And by the way, before we get to the next video, shout out Nick Lucido in the chat.
Big shout out,
resident
man.
Knicks fan. He was there at Buddies with us last
Cool
night.
as hell,
Obviously,
man.
Oh, yeah.
he's happier than we are, but I'll give him credit for this. You could tell that no matter what was going on, he was going to be a class act about it. I can't promise that if I were in that situation that I'd be the same because I'm an absolute psychopath watching games. But Nick, you're a great dude.
Yeah, he gave us our credit, man. Big shout out to
100%.
Nick, man. He said it's gonna be a long series. I agree. So
I agree
That's
too.
what's up. I see Eric Allen in the chat. He says that's a shoe tray. A lot of dryers offer that option. So
Hey.
now they're putting their pizza on a shoe tray.
That doesn't sound like two things that should go together.
yeah, I'm good.
Hey, you never know. But shout out to everyone tapped in with us and came through at Buddy's Pizza last night. My final video for you guys for what's trending. Hopefully you don't have a friend like this, but if you do, we all know that they're a dick.
Oh
Bro,
no!
come on, dog. Yeah, we not friends, bro.
What?
I'd have beat his motherfucking.
Hopefully you guys don't have friends like this.
Yeah, no, that's
Why
not
would
a friend, bro.
you do that?
Friends don't cost other friends thousands of dollars.
Hold it up, bro.
we going right to the phone store. I mean,
I'm mad for him, bro.
If we not going right to the phone store, I'm beating your ass
Man,
right
I'm
here.
the one was like, yo, man, let's go put the Dukes up for him.
100%.
I'm just like, bro, like, what?
At
you
minimum.
take me to the phone store right now. Drop what you doing. I don't care what weight you had. We are leaving right now, and we're going to the phone store.
And even if if this happens to me, he does take me to the phone store. This guy who does that, in all seriousness, needs to get his membership revoked.
Yeah, that's
for real.
That's not a friend, bro.
Yeah, no,
And I love the ghost. She said, fake, YOLO's so gullible. Bro, we having fun. Live life.
Right. Thank you.
Right.
God damn.
This guy just.
Right.
Oh, I guess we got you.
Right.
we tricked you out.
We're supposed to assume that everything is a fake.
Right.
That reminds me of that one day when like Ermanni was kind of defending Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I guess everything's a lie. That was actually funny. You guys remember that?
No, our show is actually AI right now. We're actually not here right now. But they say that's it for what's trending.
What's the Mulholland Drive great movie, by the way? There is no bad. Everything you see is an illusion.
Right.
Yo,
Not perfect, but
I love
shout out
movie
Club
and
Silencio.
TV show Flannel, dog.
Oh, yeah. No, he be having some pulls, man. I respect Flannel.
I never forget, dog. I remember putting together a reel and he was like, good luck. I was like, look at my man Flannel stunting, dog.
Been really on a movie kick lately. I need more balance in my life. You guys,
You damn
I'll
right.
probably agree that I need more balance in my life.
Is that a show?
Yes.
Because we got to record.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
More recording.
Shout out Fox 2. Oh, goodness.
I am tired.
Yeah.
We all
This
are.
test
It's okay.
pass and break it down. Hey, let's rock. Hey, chat family, thank you guys for choosing to kick off this day with the Woo Crew. We know this is the first round. Brad Holmes, he did what he did. Tyleik Williams, but it doesn't stop there, and we're going to definitely have coverage for you guys on socials. We're going to also have a stream tonight. I know some people were asking about, are we having a Pistons stream on Sunday? Yes, we're supposed to have a studio watch party here Sunday, pre-game, post-game, and all the works, as well as bring you coverage from in arena again. So thank you guys for being here. Smash that like button if you didn't get the opportunity to. And what up, though, Matt Broder? Thank you for supporting us this morning. And that dude, Justin. We got T. Foss in the building, the legend. And Kavasier Chase, one of the hardest working dudes. What up, though, brother?
Hey, what up, though? Hope you guys have a good weekend. We got 2 through 7 in the draft, so let's see who else the Lions decide to add. And then got to even the series up on Sunday so we can come in and enjoy a Victory Monday for the Pistons before they head back to the Garden. So hope you guys enjoy a good weekend. It's supposed to be nice out. And yeah, well, like I said, come back Victory Monday, and I got some stuff to celebrate. So take it easy, guys.
Hey, take it easy, man. And shout out to this elite booth. We got Detroit's #1 draft pick in the sound booth. That is KG, aka Kelvin Shepard. We can go a lot of
Here
more.
you go with that bullshit. You thought I ain't seen the beginning of the show almost calling me.
Black
almost
Arrow.
said KG. You're like, no, you didn't.
Black Arrow. I don't know what this new KG is. I feel like this one is this one's gonna be like soap opera KG. But what up, though, bro?
It's not none of that,
Morpheus
man.
KG.
Morpheus. How about Morpheus? We're here. But shout out to everybody that joined us. Almost 700 strong, man. We absolutely appreciate each and every one of y'all. Lions fans, relax, bro. It's gonna be okay, dog. I promise you it's gonna be okay. But shout out to my team. I love y'all, man. Let's keep this shit rolling, man.
Let's keep it rolling. And JB Smooth, I'm gonna introduce you, but make sure you have a winner for the giveaway from yesterday. But that's Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. JB Smooth, what up, though, brother?
Hey, what's going on?
While we break down the rest of the show.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for staying tapped in with us. We appreciate everything that you guys do for rocking with us all day, especially yesterday as well, too, with the live streams that we going on back to back. Another live stream tonight. Don't forget to check out Woodward Ringside, myself, KG, part 1 and part 2 of night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania recap. We also got Fast and Loose, another episode, me and Chase, that's out right now as well, too. And everyone just have a good weekend, man. Enjoy yourselves. Let's come back on Monday with some new players lined up for these Lions teams that we can be happy about, and hopefully another Pistons win. So let's get it.
Hopefully, man. The vet of the squad, vet of the network, Red Wings correspondent, and all sports knower. That's Flannel Sam. What up, though, brother?
Hey, Monday's show could very well be just as jam-packed, and honestly, if the Pistons win, more jam-packed. And also, we know we want the Lions to pick good players, and we want the Pistons to win. Riley Green, I'd really like to shave. I would really like to shave. Orioles pitching staff coming in, not their strong point.
Okay.
Hit one out, right?
Riley Green, comma. He would really like to shave. Okay?
That's hilarious.
The first time I heard him, like, you gonna shave Riley Green?
Riley Green, I really like to shave.
Come on, Grizzly Adams Sam.
I totally forgot about the bet. Just for the people who don't know.
Yes.
He can't shave until Riley Green hits another
I
home
can't
run.
shave or get a haircut until Riley Green hits a home
Grizzly
run.
Adams Sam. Jumanji Sam.
Which really is... He hit 24 last year.
So
Come
we
on.
have to go through phases. So what? Ron Burgundy, Milk is a bad choice, then Jumanji, and then we got to figure out what's on the top end of that, man. This is going to be epic, man.
Fucking Chewbacca.
I will be.
We might have to have the thermometer, man.
Wolfman.
Chewbacca at the top.
Teen Wolf, I don't fucking know.
Hey, man. Shout out to you guys for tapping in today. It's your boy Brandon Day, KD, Trey Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. And most importantly, you guys have a blessed one, man. Have a good weekend. Tap in with the rest of the draft. Can't wait to see and hear all you guys' reactions and overreactions and underreactions on Monday to both the Pistons and the Lions and those Tigers get going again. So have a blessed day, you guys. It's been Wake Up Woodward.
Go Pistons! And fuck you, Jalen Brunson!